Welcome back. So in the last lecture, we ended up with this application with a small floating button on the bottom right corner. And in this lecture, we are going to add a few more functionality to our main activity here. So let's jump right into it. So we are going to start with making use of this toolbar first. So to do that, what we need to do is set support action bar, and in this we are going to pass that toolbar dot toolbar. This should do it, and it is giving an exception that the required types are not matching, so just add this casting. Now the problem here is that uh, Android itself provides a system menu bar, so you won't be able to use this directly. So if you run it, you will see that you will get exception while launching the application. There you are. So the application did not launch because Android itself provides the menu bar or the action bar, and it complains rightly the same. So in order to navigate through this, we need to add a style with name app theme as no action bar, and we are going to add a couple of items. Android name as window action bar, which will be false, and another item as window no title as true. And to use this, we need to open the Android manifest file. So just go to Android manifest file, and in this main activity we need to set this theme to this app theme no action bar, which we have just defined. So we set it to that, and that should do it. Let's try to run it again, and this time the app should launch perfectly. There you go. So now you see that the separate section that was appearing is now disappeared because we have disabled the title and the action bar, and we are using the customized action bar. Okay, so moving on, we will focus on this view pager. So if you see this documentation of view pager, it allows the user to flip left and right through pages of data. So in order to use this, we need to first define a fragment here. So in the layout, we need to um, create layout resource file, and let's name it as fragment underscore name, and constant layout is fine, everything is fine. Let's add it. So here we are in our fragment main layout file, and we are going to add just one field here called the material text view with width as wrap content and layout height also as wrap content, and let's close it and provide it an ID. We call it as section underscore label. Okay, and let's give it a dummy text. So we can give it anything. We are going to change it anyway in through our main activity code. Okay, let's go to the design view, and here we are with the section label. We can minimize this section so that the design view is slightly larger. So we map bottom to bottom, right to right, left to left, and top to top, so that the actual text view will be in the middle of the screen. So as you see, these four constraints were added with those, and let's add a few margins also. Layout margin bottom, let's say it's 8 dp, then margin right also as 8 dp, margin and same, margin left as again same, margin start as 8. Now finally margin top as 8 dp. Okay, so we are done with our fragment main. Let's use it in our main activity. So in order to do that, we are going to first create a static inner class as, let's call it placeholder fragment, and this will extend the fragment class, or yeah, okay. So in this we are going to override one method called onCreateView, so which will have layout inflator, container, and saved instance state. So let's remove this return super, and let's find out our uh, fragment that we have just defined by doing inflator.inflate dot layout dot, where is that, container false. So you see that the build is successful, but we are facing that fragment main could not be found. So what we can try is just in file, we do invalidate caches and restart. Let's so once the restart completes and the build completes, you see that we no longer have that issue. Okay, so let's just format it a bit. So moving forward, now we have the fragment. Now let's get the this text view that we had added. So we have this text view and section label, which we are naming it similar to what we had for for the text view in that layout XML file. Dot find view by ID, dot ID dot section label. Okay, now in this section label we set the text to say hello from section, let's give a space over there, then get arguments dot get int, and we need a key here. So about this get arguments and what we are doing we'll explain in a bit. So before that we will just define this key that we are going to use here, and that will be static final string argument section number, and we can name it anything. Let's copy paste this. So this will be the key. So this is similar to what we have in like maps, key value pair, and as another text we say try scrolling from or let's just say try scrolling right for more understanding. So this will give the user an idea about what to do or what action is possible. Okay, so this is done. Now let's add another method to basically provide intent for this fragment. So this is static placeholder fragment, and in this we are taking an argument section number which we will pass as argument over here. So to use this we create a bundle. So bundle is basically a placeholder or a map to pass the arguments around, and we say put int with arg section number as key and the section number which we are getting as argument this as the value. So this is the bundle for us, and we create an instance of this placeholder fragment, and to this argument we to this object we pass this bundle as argument and return this placeholder fragment. So you see, whenever we create this placeholder fragment, we are asking for a section number to identify which section this is, and basically that number is passed as a bundle argument to this new object, and within that object when the fragment gets visualized, actually there we retrieve this argument and use it as a text on our text view field. Okay, so this is the fragment part, but if you see the activity main, the view pager element, it requires adapter, a pager adapter, so we need to pass or create that also. So for that we create another class let's call it section pager adapter. Extends fragment pager adapter. Okay, and now you see it complains about something. Let's see. So the fragment pager adapter is basically an abstract class with a couple of methods, so we just need to implement those methods. There are two. Okay, so here we have, so fragment get item and position. So position will be the segment number for us. Okay, and so we return placeholder fragment dot new intent with this position +1. So +1 because this position starts with a 0, and the total number of such fragments that we want, let's say we want 3, so that is that. Now it complains about the constructor. So there is no default constructor in fragment pager adapter, so we create a parameterized one, this one. Okay, let's remove the documentation. Okay, yeah, so this part is done. Now in order to utilize this adapter, let's create a variable of this type, section pager adapter. Let's call it section pager adapter. Okay, here we have the support action bar. So the section pager adapter would be we create a new object of this with get support fragment manager as the first argument of the constructor fragment manager, and another is the behavior. So fragment pager adapter dot behavior resume only current fragment. Next we are going to take an instance of the view pager that we had. Find view by id and r.id dot container, because that is the name that we have given. And in this view pager we are going to set this adapter that we have just created, section page adapter. Alright, moving on to the floating action button that we have. So we also get an instance or the reference to this button through the same way, dot fab, because fab is what we had defined over here as the id. Now we just set a dummy action here, so we set on click listener. So this will be view dot on click listener. So we implement this method. We can avoid this documentation comment for now. So we are just going to do a dummy action here. So snackbar dot make v comma create new chat, or rather start new chat, and snackbar dot length short, and we set action to action comma now and dot show. So whenever the user clicks on this floating action button, we are adding just some dummy action just to reflect that we are responding. So this is done. So before we move on, let's create a menu as well. So for menu creation, we need to go to in res folder, the resource folder. We need to create another folder, another directory, which will be named menu. Okay, and within this menu, let's create a new menu resource file. Okay, so let's call it menu underscore main and click OK. So within this menu, we are going to add an item with ID as action underscore settings and order in category 100 and title as settings. So you can give it any name, and lastly show as action to be never, so that it only stays as a menu item. Okay, so this main menu is created for us. Let's use or let's use it in our main activity. So in order to do that, we need to override a couple of methods. So first is on create options menu. Okay, so here let's just return true, and before that we need to do this get menu inflator dot inflate dot menu dot menu underscore main. So this will basically this will create our menu here, and another method that we need to override is on options item selected. Okay, so let's leave this return as is for now, and we are going to get the item number or the like basically which item on the menu is selected or tagged on. So get the ID, and if item ID is r.id dot action underscore settings, then we just return true for now. So basically we do nothing on this. So this is how we basically respond to the menu items. So yep, I guess we are done for this. Let's try to run it. Okay, so the build is finished, and as you can see, we have our fragment here which says hello from section 1, try scrolling right for more understanding. So I scroll right, and we have section 2 here, then section 3, and I cannot go further right because we defined only 3 sections to be there, like as shown here. And if I click on this floating button, you see the snack bar, and we also have a menu with settings and if I click, nothing will happen because we have not implemented anything as of now. So that's it for this lecture. See you soon.